Look, if I told you that someone making $200,000 a year could actually be poorer than someone making $60,000, you'd probably think I'm losing it. But here's the thing. Most people have this completely backwards. We've been told that income equals wealth, that a big salary automatically makes you rich. And that assumption, it's quietly destroying people's financial futures. Because the truth is, the middle class isn't defined by what you earn. It's defined by something most people never even think about. And once you understand this shift, pause, everything changes. My name is Ricky, and I spend way too much time thinking about why some people build actual wealth while others just look wealthy. If you're someone who's been working hard, making decent money, but somehow still feeling like you're stuck in place financially, you're not alone. And if you've ever wondered why your neighbor with the fancy car seems rich, but you have this gut feeling something doesn't add up, yeah, we're going to talk about that. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out, because what we're covering today is something they don't teach in school. And honestly, it's something most financial advisors won't tell you straight either. So let's get into it. You know what nobody talks about? The guy making $250,000 a year who can't afford to quit his job. The family with the $750,000 house who's one emergency away from disaster. They look successful. Everyone thinks they're winning. But behind closed doors, pause, they're drowning. And they genuinely believe this is just what life looks like now. They think everyone is secretly struggling the same way. And then you've got people on the other end, making $70,000 or $80,000 a year, not driving fancy cars, not living in the biggest house, but somehow they're calm. They're not stressed about money. They're building wealth quietly. They're free. And if you asked most people to guess who's actually richer between these two groups, they'd get it wrong almost every time. Because we measure wealth by the wrong thing. We look at income, we look at lifestyle, we look at what people drive. But none of that tells you who's actually winning. Here's what actually matters. Net worth. Not income, net worth. What you own minus what you owe. That's it. That's the number that determines if you're rich, middle class, or broke. And most people have no idea what theirs is. They can tell you their salary down to the dollar. They can tell you what their mortgage payment is. But ask them their net worth? Blank stare. And that's the problem right there. You can't build wealth if you're not measuring wealth. You're measuring the wrong thing and wondering why you're not getting anywhere. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Meet Sarah. She's 32, makes $95,000 a year as a marketing manager. Her net worth is $180,000. Here's the breakdown. $45,000 in retirement accounts, $25,000 in a brokerage account, $15,000 emergency fund. She owns a condo worth $320,000, owes $205,000 on the mortgage, so $115,000 in equity. She's got a $20,000 car loan, added up, $200,000 in assets minus $20,000 in debt equals $180,000 net worth. Sarah feels wealthy. She's not stressed. She's on track to retire comfortably. Why? Because she lives on $60,000 even though she makes $95,000. That $35,000 gap builds her wealth on autopilot. Now meet Marcus. He's 35, makes $220,000 a year as a software engineer. You'd assume he's crushing it, right? His net worth is $140,000. Wait, what? He makes more than twice what Sarah makes but has less net worth? Here's his situation. $85,000 in his 401k, that's solid. House worth $750,000, owes $680,000, so $70,000 in equity. $5,000 in savings, $20,000 in credit card debt. Net worth is $85,000 plus $70,000 plus $5,000 minus $20,000 equals $140,000. And Marcus is stressed constantly. Why? Because he spends $215,000 a year. The luxury car payments, the expensive house, the lifestyle. He can't quit his job even though he hates it. He's trapped. One more example. Meet Jennifer. She's 42, makes $68,000 a year as a teacher. Her net worth is $520,000. She's making the least of all three, but she's the wealthiest by far. How? She started investing at 23, then consistent for 19 years, lives on $48,000 a year, paid off house worth $280,000, $240,000 in retirement accounts, zero debt. Jennifer is wealthier than most people making triple her salary because she understood the game early. Now here's the thing that should make you uncomfortable. Marcus makes $220,000, Jennifer makes $68,000. Pause. If you saw both of them at a restaurant, you'd assume Marcus is richer. He's probably driving a nicer car, wearing nicer clothes, talking about his recent vacation. Jennifer, she's in a 10-year-old Camry. Normal clothes, no flex. Pause. But Jennifer can retire tomorrow if she wants to. Marcus, he's locked in for another 20 years minimum. That's the difference between income and wealth. Income is what you make. Wealth is what you keep. And most people are so focused on making more that they never learn to keep more.
All right, so what are the actual numbers? When does your net worth make you poor, middle class, or rich? The median net worth in America? About $192,700. So if you're sitting at $200,000, you're literally average, not rich, not poor, just stuck in the middle with everyone else wondering why it feels so hard. But let's break this into real categories. Poor or struggling. Below $50,000 in net worth. Now, if you're 25 with $20,000, you're fine, you're just starting. But if you're 45 with $30,000, you're one crisis away from serious trouble. Middle class, $50,000 to $500,000. Huge range. And where you fall in that range matters a lot. $75,000 feels completely different than $400,000. At $75,000, you've got a cushion, but you're still stressed. At $400,000, you're starting to feel real freedom. Upper middle class, $500,000 to $2 million. This is where life changes. You're not worried about car repairs. Medical bills don't stress you out. You've got options. You've got flexibility. Wealthy, $2 million and up. At this level, you could stop working if you wanted to. Your investments can fund your lifestyle. You're not worried about money anymore. Now here's the critical thing about moving between these categories. It's not about making more money, it's about the gap. Income minus expenses equals the amount you can invest. And that invested amount, multiplied by time and compounding, equals your net worth growth. That's it. That's the whole formula. You can make $300,000 and have no gap because you spend $320,000. Or you can make $80,000 and have a $25,000 gap because you live on $55,000. The person with the $25,000 gap will become wealthier every single time. And here's what most people don't realize about building net worth. The first $100,000 is brutal. It feels impossible. You're saving $500 a month. After a year, you've got $6,000. It feels like nothing. But once you hit $100,000, compounding kicks in. An 8% return on $100,000 is $8,000. That's more than someone saving $500 a month accumulates all year. By the time you hit $500,000, an 8% year adds $40,000 to your net worth. That's a salary, just from your money growing. This is why starting early matters so much. Time is everything. Okay, we need to talk about something that's gonna sting a little, but somebody needs to say it. Most people don't actually want to be wealthy. They want to look wealthy. And those are two completely opposite things. Your $800 car payment, it's literally stealing your retirement. That BMW you're financing, that's not a car. That's a $72,000 prison sentence on wheels. Over 5 years, that's $72,000 gone, never coming back. If you'd bought a $25,000 reliable car and invested that difference, you'd have real wealth building. But you chose to look wealthy instead. And here's the brutal part. You know this. You feel it every time you check your account. But you keep doing it because admitting you've been playing the wrong game is too painful. I read this study a few years back about millionaires in America, people with over $1 million in net worth. Guess the most common car brand among millionaires. Toyota. Not Mercedes, not BMW, not even Tesla. Toyota.
followed by Honda and Ford. Because actual wealthy people understand that a car is transportation. They're not trying to prove anything. They're too busy building freedom to care what their neighbors think. And this applies to everything: the clothes, the vacations, the restaurants, the watch, the house. Every choice is either moving you toward wealth or toward the appearance of wealth. You cannot have both, not at the beginning. Once you've built real wealth, sure, you can afford some luxuries, but early on, every decision counts. The family with the $85,000 BMW is making $1,200 payments for something that loses value every day. Meanwhile, their coworker with the paid-off Camry is investing that $1,200. In 10 years, the BMW owner has nothing. The car is worth maybe $15,000. The Camry owner? They've got $180,000 invested plus growth. That's the difference between looking successful and being successful. And society doesn't prepare you for this. We're surrounded by messages telling us we deserve the nice things, that we've earned it, that life's too short. And those messages aren't completely wrong, but they're incomplete because they never mention the cost. Every dollar you spend looking wealthy is a dollar you can't use to become wealthy. It's a trade, and most people don't realize they're making it. They think they can have both. They think they'll catch up later, but later never comes because lifestyle inflation is a ratchet. It only goes one direction. You get used to the nice car, the nice house, the nice restaurants, the watch, the house, and going backward feels like failure. So you stay trapped, making six figures and feeling broke, while the person making half as much quietly builds freedom. So what needs to change? It's not the numbers. The numbers are just math. What needs to change is how you measure success. Stop measuring by lifestyle. Start measuring by net worth. And this is hard, I'm not going to lie. Investment accounts don't get likes on Instagram. Nobody at the office party asks about your Roth IRA. But imagine this for a second. You check your investment account and see it grew $8,000 this month while you slept. That's not boring. That's not Instagram worthy, but it's the feeling of waking up a little more free than yesterday. And once you've felt that, the neighbor's opinion stops mattering. That's what wealth actually is. Freedom, options, peace of mind. Looking wealthy is the opposite. It's being trapped by payments. Think about this over a lifetime. Someone who prioritizes looking wealthy from 25 to 65 spends 40 years stressed about money. They've got the nice stuff, but they can't stop working, can't take risks, trapped. Someone who prioritizes building wealth from 25 to 65 lives modestly for 40 years. But by 50 or 55, they have real options. Retire early if they want, take a job they enjoy for less pay, help their kids without stress. The first person gets lifestyle early and sacrifices freedom forever. The second person sacrifices a little lifestyle early and gains massive freedom later. Which sounds better to you? Because here's the reality. You're choosing one of these paths right now, whether you realize it or not. Every spending decision is a vote for which life you want. And most people are voting for the trapped life without even knowing it. Look, building wealth isn't complicated. Live below your means, invest the difference, give it time. That's it. But it's not easy because it requires doing things differently than everyone around you. It requires short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. Here's what I want you to do today. Calculate your actual net worth. List everything you own, list everything you owe. Do the math. You can't improve what you don't measure. Once you know your number, you can start making decisions that move it in the right direction. Remember that person at the beginning, making $200,000 and poorer than someone making $60,000? That's not a trick, that's reality. And the only question that matters now is which one are you going to be? Because you're choosing right now. Every spending decision is a vote. So, what are you voting for? If this video helped shift your perspective even a little, hit that subscribe button. I make videos like this every week, breaking down the money concepts that actually matter. And drop a comment below. Where are you at on your wealth building journey? What's your biggest challenge? I read every comment, and your questions help me figure out what to cover next. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.